Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys. Welcome back to our show. I'm your host, John Harcar, and I'm here today with Robert Smith. And what we're going to talk about, besides his journey in real estate and business, is how to really differentiate and set yourself apart from your competition. Whether you're a realtor, whether you're a broker, whether you're a title agent, whatever it might be. How to really set yourself apart. Remember, guys, here at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their business by providing tools and resources to grow the business they want to grow, which gives them that life that they've always wanted to live. So, Robert, welcome to our show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, John. Thank you.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about your journey. I mean, I read your bio. It looks like you're very accomplished. And, I really think that differentiating yourself from your competition is a huge thing. But before we dive into the weeds and get into that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you, your background in real estate, what got you here?
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny. I kind of backed into real estate, did a little bit different than everybody else, or probably everybody who was in your audience. I've been a financial advisor for decades and was fortunate to be #1 worldwide with Mutual of New York, The Equitable, AXA Financial, set a bunch of records at John Hancock, New York Life. So the bottom line was I knew how to sell, and I knew how to differentiate myself from the competition to get those clients to sell. And I had a couple of elderly clients, an 80-year-old couple with some waterside property here in Florida 20 years ago. And they had a little bit of an issue is, they were 80, so they needed to slow down a little bit in life. So they had a $2.5 million waterfront home in Sarasota, and they had a $3 million property in Nantucket that they just built. And they stopped working, and they didn't have a lot of passive income, so they weren't going to be able to manage the finances for both properties. So I suggested they sell one of them. And they said, well, should we do a year listing with an agent? I said, absolutely not. Do 6 months and see if they can sell it. And if not, we're going to move on to somebody else. So I listed with someone and came through a referral. They thought a lot of them. And in 6 months, not even one showing. So I said, ditch that person, go to somebody else. They gave that person 6 months. And they had a couple of showings, but not even one single offer in 6 months. So now we've gone a year where they've not even close to selling their home. And I told him, this is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what's going on with the real estate people, but I can sell your home inside of a month. So I'm going to go spend a weekend, get licensed, and I'll start showing your house. We'll have it done in 30 days. And long and the short of it, it took me a weekend to study for it, took the test, and obviously passed that, put their house on the market, and we sold it and closed it within 2 weeks. So it was a game changer. So the cool thing about that was that I believe anybody can sell real estate, anybody can invest in real estate, and whether you're a title agent, mortgage broker, whatever it is, we've all got the same issues. Number one, we have to learn to sell, but more importantly than that, to get the clients to sell. And how do we do that? And that's by establishing our authority. How are we different from everybody else? And the one thing we do with every client that comes in to get them some quick wins is we do a press release for them and get it out there we get it picked up on every major television network in the country. So
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
doesn't matter if they're left-leaning, right-leaning, we get them all covered. ABC, CBS, W, Fox, NBC, WGN, we get them all. And then, you see people with their website, they've got all those logos on there. That's one way we do it. And then if they're polished and we want to get them on TV, whether they're a real estate broker here in Orlando or a title agent in Tampa or an investor in Jacksonville or Miami, we do TV interviews for them. So we get them picked up on their local ABC, NBC, whatever it is. And it builds some authority. So they put those video clips on their site. Or, they've got the logos on there, so it differentiates them. So like if I'm going to list a house and I say, do I want to go with Coldwell Banker? Do I want to go with Remax? Who do I want to go with? And I start looking around, the agents and brokers that are going to stand out are the ones with all the television logos. And they're also going to be the ones that, have videos of themselves viewed as a local expert in the market. So those are a couple of things we do. And we also consult with our clients and teach them how to get referrals. And the same people who we sold the house for, we do a little magazine, or we did 20 years ago, called Affluent Homeowner, where we'd get these and send them in their mailbox. They go through, and it's not so much a puff piece, but it's just to stay top of mind. And the interesting was the very first issue we sent, the first day we sent it out, I get a call 2 days later. And it's this lady, 80 years old, and she says, hey, I'm at my mailbox with a friend of mine. We're having lunch. And can you please come and see her? She's got $1 million to invest. Can you help her out? Because she doesn't know what to do. Can you please make time for her? And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I guess I can make time. So we set the appointment on the phone. 2 days later, I've got a consulting check for $3,000. I do her plan, and she invests $1 million with me inside of a week. And it's just a matter of being top of mind. And the funny thing was, she called me, 80 years old, and it's probably 95 degrees outside. She had to walk quite a ways from her front door to her mailbox at the end of her drive. And she couldn't even wait to get back inside in the AC. And she said, I've never had an agent or an advisor before with their picture on the front cover of a magazine. So to you and I, it's probably no big deal, but to some clients, you're an authority. And she says, can you please
of course.
out? And her friend right away said, yeah, whatever you want to do, here's $1 million. And it's kind of ridiculous, but that's the way it works. And that's just two ways. You got TV, you got magazines, obviously books. We got a couple #1 bestsellers back there. So that's one of the things we do. We've got people in all kinds of businesses that want to differentiate from their competition. We have them write a book, and we turn that book into a #1 bestseller. We bring them on TV. They talk about the book, and they've got their local market cornered. And we get some people who say, hey, man, I don't know how to write. I can't spend a year writing this damn book. What can you do for me faster? And we do anthologies where we'll say, hey, can you write a chapter? And instead of taking a year, they get it done in 2 months. And then we take it to #1 bestseller by the 3rd month. And inside of 90 days, they've got the authority that they need. They've got a best-selling book, and they're probably the only person in their market who does. So when people are deciding between this investor, that investor, this realtor, that realtor, this title agent, that title agent, they're likely to go with the person who has more authority.
For sure. Let's go backwards. I want to know what you did in 2 weeks to get that property sold versus what everybody else wasn't doing before.
Yeah, we just marketed the hell out of it. We ran a bunch of ads, and I used not only authority, but scarcity. I said, hey, this house is going to be gone inside of 30 days. You better get out here and put a bid on it. And we just welcomed everyone to come out and put their bid in. And, we had 40, 50 people come through in the first couple of weeks. And we just let them know that, hey, we're holding bids. And
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
We're taking the highest bid, or the first qualified buyer with the highest bid is going to get this house, and that's what we did.
Got it. Okay. Well, you just started. How did you have authority?
Well, that's the other thing. The authority that I had came over from the financial sector. So I just ran ads. Number one investment advisor with all these companies. We're going to sell a multi-million-dollar house for a client. They didn't care if I'd had any experience with any other real estate company or whatever. They just said this guy is an advisor. He knows what he's talking about. And it's just a matter of getting out there, being the authority. And we've done a lot of television since then, and a lot of different things, and everything seems to work. And anybody can do it. It's not just me. You could do it. Anybody could do it.
Right. When you started doing this, like when you started being, a consultant for, agents, brokers, what kind of challenges were you coming up against, versus you had your financial experience, right?
Right. Yeah. And the reason I went into consulting, I'll backtrack just a little bit, is I was number one agent in the world with several different companies at the same time. We'd set a bunch of records with different Fortune 500 companies.
Congratulations.
I was ended in a car accident, and I broke my spine, broke my neck, broke my back. I couldn't walk for quite a bit of time. So I had 25 different neurosurgeons say, you're going to spend the rest of your life in a wheelchair. And I thought, well, if that's going to be the case, I can't fly around the country. I can't give speeches. I could, but it's not going to be easy to do. So what can I do that makes sense? And I thought, well, I can write. So I got a screenwriting degree, 2 degrees simultaneously, a master's degree here at Full Sail, and one at UCLA. Got a writing degree there and did them at the same time, finished both of my class. And that's helped me to write ads and do copywriting for people and help them sell their products. So it's really necessity more than anything else. It shifted me from the retail market to, B2B and consulting.
Got it. So what does your business look like now? What is your kind of main focus and target? I know you talked a little bit about it, but kind of give us a kind of rundown on what that looks like and where you're going.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody can go to smithprofits.com and go to the contact page, book a 20-minute consult, doesn't cost anything. And we look at what the client needs. So maybe they need a magazine to be top of mind. Maybe they need to go on television. For most people, it's, hey, get me those logos on my website. That's the quickest way to build authority. And oddly enough, to be different, this is something we did in financial services. And this little comic book on the first sale was worth a $10,000 commission. It was the biggest commission I ever earned. And I've had people say, you can't do comic books. It's not professional. It's not about being professional. It's about being different and about getting results.
It's about being remembered. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So you come in, we could do a real estate investor magazine. We can do a real estate sales agent, based on Wonder Woman, based on Batman, based on whatever, and it'll sell like crazy. And the reason I know it is these clients with the home, before we did the home, they had a giant tax problem. So when either spouse died, obviously everything transfers unlimited, but then when the second spouse dies, the kids are going to have a massive tax bill to pay, and the only way to pay that was through life insurance. And I was in competition with a half dozen different big name companies, and they all came in with 6 or 7 people in suits. They had a lawyer, a tax accountant, financial advisor, an insurance guy, you name it, all the way through, and everybody had a 150 to 200 page report, super analytical, and the people just didn't get it, just didn't understand. So I actually sat down with a legal pad. This back before I broke my neck. I could actually draw, so I drew cartoons and I called it Insurance Man, and I went through the whole thing about how save the day and pay their taxes. And they're 80 years old, keep in mind, and these are comics I'm drawing. And I got 20 minutes through, and the old man says, I can't believe it. I said, what's the matter? I thought I offended him or made him mad or something. He goes,
yeah,
I get it. He goes, let's do this plan. And sign me up on the spot. And they gave me a massive check and everything right on the spot. And it was just because the comic book was a way to take something extremely complex and boil it down into something so simple anybody could understand it.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
And it didn't matter if somebody was 8 or 80, they were going to get it. And this couple got it for the first time, and that shut down all the competition. And I immediately started writing applications. And to this day, it's the biggest one-day check I've ever seen. It was 6 figures. And I've never seen anything like that since. And I'm sure some of your investor clients do that all the time. It's no big deal. But for your average insurance agent, they don't make that much in a year.
No, I get it. So when you're helping these folks, and I know we talked about, as far as differentiating yourself, we talked about, authority. Okay. Right. What else? What other things can someone do, even at the most basic level, just to differentiate themselves from the next Joe?
Yeah, and it's all kinds of things. Any book you read on influence and strategy, it's scarcity. You see scarcity all the time online and in every little sales funnel or whatever it is, and it's always phony. Limited time only. Sale ends at midnight. It's all nonsense. So when I go out and say, we're going to sell this house in 30 days, bring your offers, that's dead serious. That's a fact. And it wasn't going to go 31 days, 32 days. It was going in 30 days. So if you're going to use scarcity, it's got to be legitimate. And when you have legitimate scarcity, that beats anything else out there. So, you've got to have that. You've got to have social proof. Like, for example, when I showed the magazine and those clients referred me to another client, they said, hey, this guy saved us. We were on the verge of bankruptcy. Now we're living in multi-million-dollar homes and our retirement set. That's social proof. So now, you've got that working for you. So there are a lot of variables that go into it. And that's what we talk about, in the 20 minutes in the consult that we give to everybody.
Okay, so you do this consult, and what's a little bit more robust information? What do you ask in this consult? What are you trying to find out?
Yeah, we just drill down into their business. What are you doing now? What are you trying to do? What do you want to do? What's been successful? What's failed? And we get answers from all over the board. But for the most part, it's people saying, I've never been able to break through. I've never made my first $100,000, or I've never made my first $500,000, or I've never made my first $1 million. And we say, how do we get there? And when they hire us, and you can hire us anywhere from, $1,000 a month to $20,000 a month, depending how much time you want us to spend on your project. And everybody that we've worked with in the last, it's been since 2010 was when I started doing the consulting. Every company we've worked with in the last 15 years, 15 years, they've exceeded their goals. They said, I needed to make $100,000.
Awesome.
Next thing you know, they're making 200 or 250. And it's just, it's nothing that I'm a genius on. It's just people that you read, Adam Smith, or what's been going on for 2 million years with or 200 years with, economics and the, the field of influence and sales psychology and things like that. So I've probably read 200 to 220 books on sales, on influence, on authority, any of those subjects. And if you want to do the same thing, by all means do it. I spent 40 years reading all that stuff.
Yeah. So, if you want to go this long, then do it. If you want to go this long, then hire someone like you.
Exactly. So take your pick. But it all works. And if we find something that doesn't work the way we want, we just fine tune it and tweak it and get it to work. And everything works if you know what works. So if the track record of everybody else, it's standing on the shoulders of giants, and that's in one of the books that I wrote. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's just see how someone in your industry did exactly what you want to do, and put your own personal touch to it and just get it done.
What mistakes do you think people are making when they're going out there and trying to establish their own authority and their own presence and all that?
Yeah, the biggest mistake I see is they're just taking too much time. They say, well, everybody tells me I should write a book because I'm so great. And, they've been writing that book for the last 5 years. It doesn't do any good. You know, we do a press release in a day, release it, and anywhere 2-3 days, we get it covered all over the country, and we get those logos back to them. So inside of a week, it's not you telling your friends you're an expert. It's all the major networks saying, yeah, this guy knows what he's talking about. And you can send clients links. So the cool thing that's always worked for me is we splash the whole country. So we go coast to coast, border to border. If I've got a consulting client in St. Louis, I'll say, where did we land in St. Louis? So maybe it's ABC or NBC. If they're in San Diego, maybe it's Fox. You know, if they're Boston, maybe it was on CW. Obviously in Chicago, it's WGN. So we hit something that they're familiar with and said, well, this is what we did in the backyard last week. Oh, okay. And then they, you know, read the release and everything's in there. And it's all your accomplishments or what you're doing for your clients. So it's everything in the release is what makes you different from everybody else. But most importantly, what does your potential client get out of working with you? And if they say, hey, I've been sitting on this house for 6 months, I need to get out from this white elephant, and they know you can sell it in a month to 2 months, they're going to call you.
Okay. Is it for real estate only?
No, it's any industry. I've done it with financial advisors, is where most of my clients work because you do what you know. So that's where most of my referrals came from. But I did mortgage brokers. I had, it's funny, in Tampa, a group of mortgage brokers. I think they had 15 originators in there. None of them had ever made six figures over the course of a year. Within 6 months, I had every single person in that office over 100 grand in 6 months.
Incredible.
So, we've done it with realtors. We've done it with tax people, CPAs, doctors, lawyers, just about everybody. I can't even, think of all the IT people. Just about any person out there we've worked with.
Got it. What do you think the keys to your success in sales or in, building that differentiation or authority, those type of things? What are your keys to success?
Yeah, the keys are just doing what works and repeat the process. So if I go out and make $1 million sale, it's like, how did I do that? Let me see if I can repeat that. And then with the next client, everything's the same. And a lot of it is preconditioning your clients to want to do business with you. So like with the silly comic book, when we were doing insurance, if we book an appointment with somebody, we'd say, here, we're going to send you a digital comic. Take a look at it. Let us know what you think. And by the way, these are all the things you need to bring for your interview, for your discovery meeting. We need your taxes. We need your mutual fund statements, stocks, bonds, whatever. And everybody comes in loaded for bear. And the cool thing is they always come in and say, hey, can I get some more of those comic books? I say, yeah. So we used to give them physical comic books, and they would pass them out to people. They'd be at the country club hitting golf balls, and they'd say, hey, they'd go to their car and tell their buddies. And you get multi-million-dollar clients that way off a comic book.
How cool.
Stupid works.
That's awesome. So do you have, you obviously have your website. How do people get a hold of you? Give them the way that they can reach out if they want to talk about how to, to use your services, or maybe just have some ideas that they want to go over.
You can just go through and there's a lot on there. You can spend probably a day on the website. I don't recommend anybody do that. But smithprofits.com, you can book a no-cost consultation or just call me direct, 407-508-0200.
Awesome. And then what's one last little tip of advice you would give someone who is looking to go out there and build authority or, gain reputation?
Yeah, just if you're not out there just doing your best and just trying to own your competition, what are you doing in business? Like I'm a Detroit Lions fan. It's okay that we won the division. I want to win the NFC, and then I want to win the Super Bowl. And I think everybody's got to be the same way. It's one thing to dominate your office, dominate your city, dominate your state. But, when you're number one in the country, it's a different feel. When you're number one worldwide with anything you're doing, it's just a whole different feeling. And once you get there, you want to stay there. So just compete. And I guess what I would tell everybody is do whatever you want, but just compete.
Compete. Be in the game. Don't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah, don't worry and don't think it. Just get out there and grind and just work at it.
I love it. Man, thank you so much for coming on here. Robert, thank you for sharing all that information. Guys, we'll put all his contact information in the show notes. But I hope you got some good information out of here. Hope you took notes. Robert, thank you again. I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.